Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unpack big company secrets, and today we're diving into Amerant Bancorp Inc. We've got a current report that sounds like it might be a little dry, but sometimes those are the ones hiding the most interesting things. Stick around to find out what Amerant is telling the world right now. And before we dive in, if you love getting these corporate deep dives without the corporate jargon, make sure you are subscribed. We also have a fantastic Discord community linked in the description below for more in-depth discussions. This document we're looking at is a current report filed on the 10th of November 2025. Think of it as a quick update from the company to the public and the regulators. The earliest event it mentions is also from the 10th of November 2025. So it is super current. This tells us that whatever we're about to discuss, Amerant Bancorp Incorporated felt it was important enough to share right away. Now, the big exciting piece here. The main reason for this report is an investor presentation. This isn't some dry legal document about their corporate structure. This is Amerant showing its hand to investors. They're planning to use this presentation with existing and potential investors, and even analysts. This is where they're going to highlight their successes, talk about their strategy, and really try to shape how people see the company, because it is an investor presentation. We should expect it to be framed in the most positive light, but between the lines there are always clues. This investor presentation is the heart of this filing. Companies use these to communicate key information, progress, and future outlook to their stakeholders. It is essentially a curated story that management wants investors to hear. What is particularly interesting is that they are filing it on the 10th of November, and the presentation itself is to be used starting on that same day. This indicates a proactive communication strategy, likely aimed at informing key parties about recent developments or strategic directions. It is not just a retrospective look at past performance, but also a forward-looking statement disguised as a presentation of current information. While this filing itself doesn't contain the actual financial tables we'd usually get in a more detailed report like a 10Q or 10K, the mere act of filing an investor presentation under Regulation FD disclosure signals that they are sharing material information broadly, Regulation FD, or fair disclosure, is all about preventing selective disclosure of important company news. By filing this presentation, Amerant is ensuring that everyone hears the same story at roughly the same time. This presentation will likely touch on key performance indicators, strategic initiatives, and perhaps future targets. Without the actual presentation content in front of us, we can only infer the types of information it contains. But its very existence and filing here speaks volumes about what Amerant Bancorp Incorporated wants its investors to know. Now, without seeing the specifics of the presentation, we can't crunch numbers here, but the fact that they are putting this presentation out there means they have something they want to highlight. It could be strong performance in certain areas, expansion plans, or even a response to market conditions. Companies don't typically put out a new investor deck without a reason. It is their chance to get ahead of the narrative. Looking at the structure of this filing, it is very focused on this outward communication. There are no lengthy risk factor updates or detailed financial statements here, just the announcement of the investor presentation. This suggests that any major news or strategic shifts are likely to be found within that attached exhibit. Let's consider Amerant Bancorp Incorporated's position. As a financial institution, their performance is often tied to broader economic trends, interest rate environments, and regulatory changes. An investor presentation would typically address how they are navigating these factors. They might be highlighting their loan growth, their deposit strategies, or their efficiency in operations. Every number, every bullet point in that presentation is designed to build confidence and perhaps justify their current valuation or encourage new investment. In essence, this filing is a transparent move to make sure everyone has access to the same messaging from Amerant Bancorp Incorporated. It is a snapshot of what management believes is important for investors to see right now. It is a signal that they are actively managing their investor relations and want to maintain an open dialogue. So, what does this really mean? It means Amerant Bancorp Incorporated is on the move and wants its investors to know about it. The investor presentation is their platform to tell their story. While we don't have the juicy financial numbers directly in this report, the attachment of the presentation itself is the story. It implies there are developments, progress, or perhaps a strategic pivot that management is eager to share. Think of it as a management team confidently walking into a room of investors, ready to lay out their case. Now, let's think about the broader implications of this type of filing. By releasing this presentation, Amerant is essentially providing guidance to the market. They are setting expectations. This is crucial because it helps investors make informed decisions. If the presentation hints at strong future growth, it could positively impact their stock price. Conversely, if it signals challenges or a cautious outlook, the market will react accordingly. It's also important to remember the context of the financial industry. Banks like Amerant Bancorp are constantly adapting to new technologies, changing customer behaviors, and evolving economic landscapes. Their strategy might involve expanding into new markets, developing innovative digital banking solutions, or focusing on specific business segments. The investor presentation is likely to shed light on these strategic moves from a high-level perspective. This filing demonstrates a commitment to transparency, at least in terms of sharing what the company wants to communicate. It's a standard practice for publicly traded companies to use these types of filings to keep the market informed. So while it might seem unexciting on the surface, the content of that investor presentation is where the real insights lie. It's a window into Amerant Bancorp Incorporated's current thinking and its aspirations for the future. It's their opportunity to shine a spotlight on their strengths and articulate their value proposition to the investment community. Looking at this through a Warren Buffett lens, he'd be interested in the long-term value of Amerant Bancorp Incorporated, not just the short-term presentation. He'd want to know if the strategy outlined in the presentation is sustainable, if it creates a durable competitive advantage, and if the company is being run by honest and capable people. The numbers behind this presentation would be key. While we don't have them here, the fact that they are presenting suggests they have numbers they believe will impress. What we can infer is that Amerant Bancorp Incorporated is likely in a phase where they want to actively engage with investors, perhaps to justify their current valuation, attract new capital, or communicate a significant strategic update. It is a proactive step in managing investor perception and ensuring a consistent message is delivered. So, to wrap it up, this current report centered around an investor presentation is Amerant Bancorp Incorporated's way of communicating significant information to the public. It is their chance to tell their story, highlight their progress, and outline their vision. While we are missing the deep financial details in this specific document, the filing of the presentation itself tells us that Amerant is ready to share its latest strategy and performance highlights with the world. It is a signal that investors should pay attention to what Amerant Bancorp Incorporated is saying about its future. Now, looking at this filing and the context around it, Amerant Bancorp Incorporated seems to be actively managing its investor relations by providing this presentation. This is generally a sign of a company that is either having good news to share or is strategically repositioning itself and wants to get that message out clearly. The strength here lies in their proactive communication. However, the weakness, from our perspective as analysts looking strictly at this filing, is the lack of raw financial data. We are being told there is important information, but we have to wait for the investor presentation itself to see it unfolded. A notable opportunity for the company would be if this presentation successfully attracts new investors or solidifies the confidence of existing ones, potentially leading to share price appreciation or easier access to capital for future growth. A risk, however, is that if the presentation's message doesn't resonate or if the market interprets it negatively, it could have the opposite effect. Without the actual content of the presentation, it is hard to gauge specific risks or opportunities, but the act of filing it highlights their focus on investor sentiment. In conclusion, Amerant Bancorp Incorporated has filed a current report to disseminate an investor presentation. This indicates a deliberate effort to communicate material information broadly and simultaneously, while the specifics of their financial performance or strategic initiatives are contained within the presentation itself. The filing signals a period of active investor engagement. Alright, that is our quick decode of this Amerant Bancorp rated filing. What do you think this investor presentation will reveal? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more straight up corporate insights. And don't forget to join our Discord community, linked in the description for even more in-depth discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next decode.